is a true honor for me to present this award to a woman like Shadi Amin. Shadi Amin, yes. Shadi Amin, for me, she represents an example of struggle and coherence. She's a personified example of what the feminist motto, because they were, so we are, because we are, so they will be, really means. Thank you, Shadi, for showing us that our lives deserved to be lived with whole dignity as human beings that we are. Thank you for being, just for being, and also for being there, building together this amazing, a huge bridge among us. With totally awareness of the fact that because we are our successor lesbian sisters, them will be, taking over from those who fought for us and living a better world for all the lesbians, of course, with an asterisk, who will come after us. Please, Shadi Amin, let me the honor to give you this award.
Thank you. Thank you. So, thank you very much. Thank you so much. So, before I start with my speech, I would like you to take 1 minute silence. I would like you to take 1 minute silence for those who have lost their lives for freedom in Iran and for LGBTIQ rights worldwide. Thank you. I received my first pair of trousers, ones that looked like my dad's, at the age of 6 years old. I would tuck it under my pillow at night and dream of going to faraway places. With my yellow trousers that had a zipper, I was no longer limited to what I could do in a skirt. In my village, Meshkinabad, all I wanted to do at school was to show that I didn't need boys and that I was smarter than them. The first time I had feelings for a girl was when I was a scout and we went to a camp. My heart fell for another 9-year-old, Mariam, who had come from Tehran. Mariam had lost her necklace, and I searched high and low for it in the small stones so that she would notice me. I didn't find it. The next day, I dived into a deep pool for her without knowing how to swim. And as you see, I was rescued. Indeed, we have gone to death's door for love time and time again. Years later, when I fell in love, I couldn't shake the feeling of guilt. I didn't know what homosexuality is and what it means to be a lesbian. The first time I heard of the word lesbian, it was 1990. Because of my gender expression and due to the lack of awareness and the taboo around this subject, I always thought I was a boy who was born as a girl by mistake. I felt guilty about girls in my school having crushes on me. It was as if I was polluted with something that would pollute them when they were near. I entered the world of leftist activism after the 1979 revolution. The revolution matured me. I could only experience free activism for a few years before some of my friends were executed and many more were arrested. I was forced to flee. Had my lesbian love not been there to save me, and had she not risked her life to find me safe places to hide, I wouldn't be here today. After months of living underground, through a smuggler, I fled to Pakistan, then to Turkey, then to East Germany. I was deported to Turkey, but managed to find a way to Berlin in West Germany a few weeks later. I was finally safe and had to lead a normal life. Because of the pain and the stress my family went through because of my escape, I decided to put aside my perverted sexual desires. Indeed, I did cure myself. I married to a man to lead a normal life. The result of my marriage was my daughter, who is the one and only reason for my resilience in that dark time of denial and concealment. It was during pregnancy when I seriously began researching and studying issues regarding sexual orientation in German language. I felt like myself once again, as if my whole existence became awake again. After 5 years of deep denial, I remembered that I was lesbian. I know it's hard to believe, but I have remembered who I was again, my forgotten self. At the World Women's Conference in Beijing in 1995, after witnessing the lesbian march, my eyes caught another's eyes, and I fell in love again. I decided I would pursue my desires seriously this time. In 1998, I gave my first public speech about same-sex love in Farsi. After that, I realized how difficult being a lesbian is in a society that has even criminalized womanhood. I have tolerated the pain of homophobic, patriarchal, and toxic attacks with love for the next generation and in order to pave their way. I knew that just like the gender identities that all of us are assigned at birth, we are all branded as heterosexual. Ridding ourselves of that is a very painful and dangerous process. I would tell myself that I always take risks and should take the risk of re-identifying myself so that it would be easier for others to do the same. I told myself that I owed it to myself and the generations to come. Paying my debt to the next generation and the last years of my life has been my motivation for all of these years. I'm still paying that debt. It was not always easy to deal with consequences. I have often put up with this pain in the arms of my partners. However, the loneliness I felt in social setting, especially online, irritated me. I and other lesbians and transgender people had been brutally targeted and attacked on social media. In 2011, I decided to set up a network for Iranian lesbian and transgender people in order to fight homophobia and transphobia and to step outside the male-dominated LGBTI discourse in the Iranian community. Through the Iranian Lesbian and Transgender Network, 6 Rank, we have published dozens of research papers and books, have participated in many international events, raised awareness about the criminalization of same-sex conduct and social discrimination against LGBTI community in Iran and neighboring countries. We have created a space for lesbians and trans people within Iranian media outlets where they had been absent previously. When I first became a board member for ILGA, I realized that this fight is a lifelong battle for a lesbian woman. Discrimination and marginalization are not only limited to undereducated and ignorant countries. It's present at the heart of Europe, Canada, Thailand, from USA to Australia. You are in a constant fight and fear of being erased every single day as a lesbian woman. I took this painful experience and turned it into a force of change. I used it to create mechanisms that oppose mechanisms which always take the easiest route by excluding women, and particularly lesbian women. Since the death of 22-year-old Kurdish woman Mahsa Jina Amini, this September, Iranians have taken to the streets to demand regime change. Many have been injured, arrested, tortured, and killed. When I think of the revolution and its slogan, Women, Life, Freedom, Jen Jian Azadi, that is alongside queer life freedom, I see the face of نیکا شاکرمی. On 20th of September 2022, 16-year-old Iranian teenager نیکا شاکرمی was targeted by security forces as she was leading protesters in Tehran by burning her scarf. She was beaten by multiple strikes on her head. We only know about her short life, and her love for a German teenage girl afterwards. نیکا is just one of many Iranian LGBTIQ members who are risking their lives for this revolution to succeed. Their pictures, videos, and social media posts all show us their lives and their loves as queer people. This is where we see that we have paid at least a part of our debts to the younger generation, even if our lives have not seen a single peaceful day. Sare, Zahra Siddiqi Hamadani, and Elham's Chubdar lives are still in our hands, and they require our help. These 2 Iranian women have been sentenced to death because they raised awareness about same-sex love. The success of the revolution in Iran is important for them, for us. So is its direction. If this revolution doesn't accept the LGBTI community's demands today, despite all the obstacles and difficulties, it will be a massive defeat for the young people who have risked their lives. This award means a lot to me. This is an award given to a lesbian woman from a community, from a country where her mere existence is criminalized and threatened by a range of corporal punishments from lashing all the way to death. I would like to give this award to نیکا شاکرمی. I would like to give this award to نیکا شاکرمی and her dreams, and all the young people who live in fear of their true identities and sexualities being unveiled. And for those who risk their lives for a taste of a simple kiss, all the way from here in Tenerife to the rest of the world. You young lesbians, and old lesbian whose wrinkles are rivers of precious experiences, have made the world habitable for us. I hope we build a world where the love of humanity is the first and final priority. Lastly, I want to thank you all for being here tonight. I want to thank the organizers, Euro-Central Asian Lesbian Community and Less Working Lesbian Network, my six-rank friends, guests, and other awardees and speakers. I want to thank Shadi Sadr, who has accompanied me through thick and thin for more than a decade. Thank you. Thank you to my daughter, Jeannie, who is here, who had to bear living with a divorced refugee lesbian mother, and being bullied at school because of it, while shielding her pain for years. Thank you to my young and wise grandsons, Devon and Jawan, who are going beyond the patriarchal and heteronormative ideals of society. They have given a meaning to my life. You will make a better world with all your efforts. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.